Hi, I'm Scott Wrighton. I serve as Decatur's city manager. Every week you can find another short little video, some shorter than others, about what's going on at your city government. Today I'd like to talk about two topics. One is an additional development and new program that's related to our ongoing neighborhood revitalization and rehabilitation projects. And the second has to do with the annual work that the mayor and city council do to set, establish, and create a fair level of property taxation as a part of its budget. So last Thursday, the Community Development Department posted out at Johns Hill Park an event centered around our Great Streets Initiative. This is an initiative that the mayor and city council approved several weeks ago, where we're identifying the Jasper Street Corridor not just for improvement of the street itself, but for all of the properties that adjoin it, several blocks deep, east and west, either side of Jasper, all the way from Lakeshore Drive in the south to where Jasper Street ends at its junction with Pershing on the north. There's industrial property, there's residential property, there's commercial property, there's railroad property, there's several other types of property, some of which are in different conditions. And so Jasper Street seemed to be the ideal place to begin this kind of a strategy. The Great Street strategy has been used successfully in several other cities, and so we're trying to apply some of those successes to Decatur. And so the event at Johns Hill last week was, besides a good time and the weather was great, it was an opportunity for gathering information and input, feedback from residents all along the corridor who were invited. I'm pleased to tell you that we had a great turnout. I haven't seen the results yet, but we expect that we'll get that information collated here shortly and make it available to the public on our website and to the mayor and council, so they can use that kind of information and feedback to make decisions about the corridor, as well as have it be used by the different neighborhood groups along the way. Certainly a key goal of this project is to better engage neighborhood associations, other not-for-profits, and community development corporations up and down that Jasper Street corridor, who are our natural partners in trying to rehabilitate the neighborhood. If you'd like to learn more about it, we've established a website just for this project. It's called jasperconnect.org. That's the website. And you can also learn a little bit more about our neighborhood revitalization program in general, not just the Jasper corridor, with a neighborhood revitalization link that's on the city's website. One of the other pieces of information related to neighborhood revitalization that you can also find on our website is the amount of, is a pie chart that illustrates how the city is using its American Rescue Plan funds that are received from the federal government over a 2-year period in 2021 and in 2022. This has been a topic of much discussion by the mayor and city council, and what that pie chart that you can see on our website illustrates is that for the most part, the city council has said we're going to put most of this money into two big areas. Now, some of it's going to public safety and law enforcement, and a little bit to fire, and to some other miscellaneous projects. But the largest categories are neighborhood revitalization and neighborhood rehabilitation, arguably the city council's #1 priority. And the second category is to infrastructure, water, sewer, and broadband specifically, because the legislation calls out those infrastructure types in the bill that's being enforced by the U.S. Treasury Department. That fits our goals too, because one of Decatur's greatest economic development assets is that infrastructure. Those are our assets, and so we make those clear in our advertising and our outreach to new businesses, and that has figured in significantly into the successes that we've been able to announce. But in order to make sure that we can continue to do that, we have to invest in our water system and our sewer systems. And so a significant portion of those American Rescue Plan monies are also going into fortifying, expanding, enlarging, and modernizing our water and sewer systems. You can see that illustrated in that pie chart that's available on the city's website. Another feature of the budget, which is coming up for the mayor and city council, because the city of Decatur operates on a calendar fiscal year. It begins, our fiscal period is the same as the calendar year, and under state law we are required to adopt a budget before that budget year starts on January 1. We can't go months into the budget year and still not have an adopted budget. Only the federal government can do that. One of the components that makes up a large part of the revenue stream for the city of Decatur's budget, of course, comes from property taxes. So I want to talk a little bit about property taxes, even though the City Council has not made a final decision yet about what the property tax levy would be, a levy that they set this fall for taxes that are due and payable in the summer of 2023. For the last several years, all of the City of Decatur's property tax levy is taking, about 3/4 of it goes to pay fire and police pensions, and the remaining quarter is divided between the Decatur Public Library, bonded debt payments, and a much smaller payment to the Decatur Municipal Band. These amounts keep increasing, especially pension payments, at a rate that is substantially above the rate of inflation and substantially above normal increases in the equalized assessed value. And so the struggle that the City Council has is, how do we keep property taxes level and not increase them, even though there's more demands every year for higher pension costs? And so the last time the mayor and City Council talked about this, they said, yes, we have the authority, we have the need to increase the property tax, but we don't want to do it. We want to sort of hold the line and try to be as level as possible. And so they'll be making that decision as a part of their overall budget deliberations. But I want to report to you that your mayor and city council are really trying to make sure that they bring in a property tax levy that, after adjustments for inflation and new annexations and new construction, stays as level as they can make it and doesn't take advantage. They could do it if they chose to do so, but the city council is exercising restraint and saying, no, we don't want to increase the property taxes because our citizens are under enough financial stress right now. The last thing I want to say about property tax is that the City of Decatur's property tax is only about 15% of the total property tax. That when you get that bill from Macon County, only about 15% of it is paid to the City of Decatur. The vast majority of it is as is true in almost every jurisdiction in the state of Illinois, goes to pay for public schools, depending on which school district you're in, as there are many different school districts in the City of Decatur. Generally, half or more of your property tax levy goes to the schools. An amount only slightly below the city's levy goes to the Park District. About 10% of the overall levy goes to the county, and then there's several much smaller jurisdictions. And when all 11 of those taxing bodies all send in their levies to the county then totals them all up and then sends out an aggregated bill. And if you look at the bill closely, you can see all those different taxing bodies separately delineated, and they separately set their levies. Now, most people just look at what the total is. They don't really care that much how much is the city or how much is the county, how much is the Park District, how much is the school district, and so forth. You want to know what that total is. But it's important to remember that the City Council, that the City of Decatur is only about 15% of the levy, and that's down from about 16.5% just a few years ago as well, which I think reflects the City Council's attempt to be good stewards and to keep it as flat as they can, despite the fact that they have pressures to increase pension payments. And what they've had to do is that in order to meet those additional demands, they've had to take that out of other general revenue sources. Anyway, that's a short primer on how property tax works. I look forward to bringing you some more information on how your city government works, especially as we go through the budget and as I have opportunity to announce decisions that the mayor and council make about what their spending priorities are going to be for the new fiscal year. Thanks for listening.